ladies and gentlemen, mostly the gentlemen, it is time for the Archfiend's 2012 NFL season predictions. Now, I started making these sports videos on Sundays because I wanted to kind of just warm you guys up, because I'm going to start making these videos every single week here, specifically for the football season. And I know a lot of you guys hate the sports videos. Cry me a river if you do. Anyway, now you guys may remember we did this last year, and if I can remember correctly, I pretty much nailed everything as far as my predictions go. Okay, there was that one part where I pulled out the betting magazine and I showed you how they had the Giants picked to win the NFC East, and I said what a complete joke that was and how there's no way they're going to win the NFC East, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl and made me look like an asshole. I'm sorry, Giants fans, but I'm going to make up for that this year. I'm going to make up for blowing that prediction and give you a super duper stellar list of take your money and place it hard on the teams that I tell you are going to win this year, because every single week I'm going to tell you who the winners are going to be. And if you want to make a lot of money, you will listen to someone else. But if you want to be entertained, you'll be listening to my picks. Be listening? Is that good grammar? Anyway. Alright. Now, last year, I got a few things right, I got a few things wrong, and I try to make this interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be basically breaking down what I think are the strengths and weaknesses this year, the teams that really don't stand a shot in hell in doing anything. And, well, and by the way, if you hear noises in the background, that's just Girl Fiend cooking breakfast. Is my breakfast ready, woman?
Yeah.
Alright, bring it out to me, post haste. Anyway, this year in the NFL is a lot different than last year in that we don't have a season where the preseason and the training camp and all that shit was just washed away because of the stupid ass collective bargaining agreements. We finally got a full season full of no excuses. You got that, Andy Reid? You can't say, oh, we didn't have OTAs or anything this year. Alright. I gotta tell you, this is the most excited I've been for a football season in a while. One, not just because I think the Eagles are gonna do good, but because the league itself is stacked. The lineup of stellar quarterback talent is off the charts. There's so much promising young talent that I just can't wait to see, be it RG3, Tannehill, Luck, a number of people, and just see if other quarterbacks develop, like Tim Tebow. Who are we kidding? He's not going to do shit, and neither are the Jets. Anyway, this year is very exciting. I love football, and I love it beyond just my team. It's the one sport where I can just really passionately watch every single snap. It doesn't even have to be my team playing. Anyway, that sappy shit aside, I'll start with the AFC. Alright, there's some teams that don't stand a shot in hell of doing anything. I'm talking to the Jets, the Dolphins, let me see what else do I have here on my list. The Steelers. Yeah, I'm sorry, Steeler Nation, but I said this last year, and sure enough, the Steelers shit the bed against the Denver Broncos. Tim Tebow and the Denver Broncos beat the Steelers in the playoffs. I told you the Steelers were going to fail, and fail they did. They're going to fail even worse because they're not even making the playoffs this year. The Titans, Jaguars, Colts. It's going to be a promising season for you, but let's not think Luck is taking you to a Super Bowl or even the playoffs in your first season with him. And Denver, I'd like to believe that Manning is just going to come in and take you guys to the promised land, but I think he's going to be a bit more hesitant to stay in the pocket long because he's going to be fearing that critical career-ending hit. Stuff like that is going to be on his mind. The Chiefs, I don't see you doing anything. The Raiders, I don't see you doing anything. The teams that are going to do something are the teams that I have making the playoffs. I have the two teams in the AFC that I have with byes in the first round, the Ravens and the Texans. These are the two teams that I think are going to make the most noise in the AFC. The Texans, you're going to have a healthy Schaub, hopefully, throughout the whole season. We all know that the Ravens were not the better team against the Texans when the Ravens knocked the Texans out of the playoffs last year. If Matt Schaub was in that game playing against the Ravens would have been in the Texans would have been in the AFC Championship, and any Ravens fan will tell you that. Wild card teams, all right? It gets a bit of a stretch, and a lot of people are going to be surprised that I have the Texans being one of the teams with the bye. So who do I have as the wild cards? Well, Patriots, let's be realistic, they don't have a weakness on the team, and God forbid they end up signing Maurice Jones-Drew, which is a possibility if he decides to get his ass traded from Jacksonville. That would, I would say that would bump the Patriots up into bye territory for the playoffs, but right now they're a wild card team. Bengals, very impressive team, very solid team. You had a rookie quarterback last year that took them to the playoffs. You can't complain about that. Chargers, and the Chargers are that one team. They're I often hear people on Philly sports talk stations call the Chargers the Eagles of the AFC. They're a team that's just really good. They make it to the playoffs all the time, but yet they never win the big game. I think the Chargers are going to make another solid push this year. I don't think they're going to be Super Bowl bound, but they're a very solid team, and they're a team that's going to make the playoffs again. Now, the surprising team I have making the playoffs, and I have one quote-unquote surprising team to make the playoffs in each conference, and in the AFC, it's the Buffalo Bills.
Yay!
And there you go. We have a Bills fan, apparently. The Buffalo Bills, I'm a believer in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I may be one of the few people that is a believer in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think the guy is good enough once he hones down his game, once he becomes a little bit better of a pocket passer, which he will be. He's gonna take that team to new heights, and one of which is gonna be making the playoffs this year. So I see the Bills making the playoffs. So sorry, Steelers fans. I know now it's kind of the tiebreaker into seeing what was that last wild card team that's gonna make the playoffs. It was between either the Bills or the Steelers, and I went with the Bills. Sorry, Big Ben. His time is overdue, and or is well past due, I should say. Yeah, it's Fitzpatrick time. All right, NFC. Two teams getting the bye, and I don't want to I won't say the teams like I did for the AFC. That won't make the playoffs first, because that kind of ruins it, because you can kind of figure out. Anyway, the teams that will get the bye are the 49ers again. Until they show me they have a significant weakness, I'm not gonna doubt them, because they shut a lot of doubters' mouths last year, and they just went out and won. They won decisively, they won convincingly, and then they shit the bed against the Giants in overtime in the NFC Championship. God damn it. Anyway, the other team I have with a bye, which might surprise you guys, is the Chicago Bears. I just think that's an all-around solid team, and I really think the NFC is kind of weak this year. The strengths of the NFC are the strengths that are going to develop and make teams better in the future. I'm talking about like RG3 and just a number of other rookies that are coming into the league this year. And I see the Bears basically being very dominant in a division up there in the north. I see them getting the best of the Lions and the Packers, in all honesty. Now, as for the Packers, I see them as a wild card team. I think a lot of what they did last year was overrated. It may be insane to say that, but I would just tell you, well, what the hell happened when the New York Giants came into Lambeau Field after the Packers opened up a proverbial can of whoop ass on everyone the entire season, and then they don't even show up. They played like an irrelevant team in the playoffs. That's a team without heart. That's a team that's basically just, they're satisfied. They got their one ring, and they were satisfied with it. And now there's playoff time again, they were just kind of going through the motions, and they let the Giants stomp them. That's a team that, I'm sorry, that doesn't have heart. You got to at least show up against a team like the Giants that were one game over 500. You got to show up, and you got to put the boot heel down on a team like that. And the Packers did anything but that. For that, I cannot be a believer in them. They got to prove to me they can go deep into the playoffs before I'm ever a believer in them again. Discount double check? Anyway. I have the Eagles making the playoffs as a wild card team. I don't want to go on too much about that because this is my proverbial team, hence the Eagles hat in this video. I see them becoming a wild card team. I don't see them doing anything though. This is a team that's probably either going to be one and done in the playoffs, or maybe just one win and bow out. I don't see them making the NFC Championship for one main reason, and that is there's no way in hell Vick is going to make it to the playoffs. There is no way in hell that Michael Vick is going to make it through a complete season of NFL football, 16 weeks plus the postseason. Ain't happening. I mean, he's had 2 games in the preseason thus far. He's been taken out for 2 x-rays after 6 plays in both games. 6 plays in both games. 6. Now he'll probably get taken out the 6th play, the mark of the beast. Anyway, Michael Vick, and people always say, you know, they got to tell Michael Vick, Andy Reid's got to get in his ear, tell him to play smarter football, you know, don't be so daring running straight into a linebacker downfield trying to get an extra 10 yards. Here's the thing, people. If you take Michael Vick out of his game and make him play a more precautionary style of game, you're not getting Michael Vick. You're getting a half-assed version of Michael Vick. That's not 100% of Michael Vick. That's 80% of Michael Vick. When you want him on the Eagles and you want the Eagles to succeed, you need that 100% player. And you can't get that if he half-asses his play. So he's got to be that guy that takes risks. Unfortunately, that guy that takes risks is not going to make it through a full season of NFL football. And we're finding that out firsthand just in the preseason alone. Now, as far as Nick Foles goes, all right, there's a lot of people in Philadelphia that are just hyped up because this guy's leading a number of stats in the preseason right now. And I'll admit, it's very promising. This guy looks solid. He's a 6'6" quarterback, has a great view of the field. Like, people are like, wow, he's not getting any balls batted down, which is one of the biggest gripes that people have against Michael Vick, because he usually throws a pair of batted balls every single game. You have someone who's a full 6 inches taller than Michael Vick, you ain't going to have that problem, at least as much. Everyone needs to calm down on Nick Foles until he proves he can do anything in the regular season. It's one thing to carve up the Browns in a preseason game, carve up the second string of the Pittsburgh Steelers, carve up the second and third string of the New England Patriots. That's all Nick Foles has done so far. Let's see what he does when teams have tape of him that know how to play him better, that know how to set up defensive schemes against him. Let's see what he can do in the regular season when shit like that goes down and he has to throw out a pressure. He's a pocket passer. He's not a big scrambler. So we'll see what Nick Foles can do in the regular season, because odds are he's going to get a chance because, like I said, Michael Vick is going to be missing a few games without a doubt. Anyway, 2 other teams I have making the playoffs in the NFC are the Lions, who not much of any weaknesses in the Lions. It's a very solid team. Stafford's going to take that team to heights, just like with the Texans and Schaub and this last team I'm going to mention. I'm going to hold off for a second. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be the NFC North representation in the playoffs. I think you're going to have 3 teams come out of the division to make the playoffs. And I think that is pretty much the strongest division in all of football right now. Even the, why am I forgetting the 4th team in the NFC North? I'm drawing a total blank. Oh, the Vikings. That's why, because that team's irrelevant. Aside from the Vikings, the NFC North is a very solid division. This final team, this is going to be the surprise team, much like the Bills, that I think are going to make the playoffs. Drum roll, please. The Carolina Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to have a phenomenal season. Phenomenal season. I am a big believer in Cam Newton. A lot of people might not like his attitude or stuff like that and think that's eventually going to play and his head's going to start getting bigger in the game. And, you know, once it gets to contract negotiation time, folks, this is a guy that passed over 4,000 yards in his rookie season. In his rookie season, a quarterback that a lot of teams didn't want because they thought he was going to be this head case. I mean, 14 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards in his rookie season. I can't wait to see the numbers he puts up this year, because this guy is going to play with confidence. And this is one of the many people, like along with RG3, Andrew Luck, Tannehill, all these young, hungry quarterbacks that are in the league that are taking over and making a name for themselves. And I should hold off on RG3 and Andrew Luck because they haven't shown anything in the regular season just yet, and Tannehill for that matter. Yeah, I want to see, and even Wilson in Seattle. There's another rookie that's going to be starting game one. I'm interested to see what these guys are going to do because there's a lot of young quarterbacks in the league right now. It's probably the youngest the starting age for the quarterbacks around the league has been in a while. I mean, long gone are the days of grandfather Favre leapfrog into teams and, you know, trying to just blindly throw his way downfield and all that shit. But I can't wait for this football season. I don't know how you guys feel and how you guys feel about my picks. You probably think I'm just asinine. And oh, Giants fans, sorry, I don't have you making the playoffs again this year. Oh, that's probably going to bite me in the ass again. Anyway, can't wait for this football season to start. Each week I'm going to be making one of these videos here where I'm going to talk about what happened the week before and what I think is going to happen the following week, give you my predictions. I'll upload this either Saturday night or Sunday morning. So I'm ready for football. I don't know about you guys, but it can't start soon enough. And I know even Girl Fiend's happy that football's starting. Isn't that right, Girl Fiend?
Which one's football?
Okay, well, all right, and football's not for everyone, but I love football. And not the soccer football for you European people out there. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Let's go, Eagles. Sorry, Giants.